We are in the 2024 Mustang Mach E. This is based on the GT Premium Edition of the car. It's about $60,000, $65,000 MSRP. This has 480 horsepower and 700 foot-pounds of torque. Goes to 60 in the high threes, they say. Let's give it a launch. I want to point out we're in one of the absolute safest spots to do this in. There's no driveways and no traffic. This is pretty much the middle of nowhere, so don't judge us too hard on that. Let's show you what this thing can do and enjoy. I should point out we're in unbridled mode with the sound on. And there is almost 3 digits. I will say, kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Is it Tesla Model S or Model X plaid fast? No. Is it fast enough for 99% of your applications? Absolutely. It does give you a pretty good shove, at least in the beginning. It does tend to pull off on the torque after about 3 seconds, but first few seconds are pretty spicy. Love the all-wheel drive. There's no drama. And the propulsion sound, I mean, you can hear it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, yeah. I will say the steering weight in this mode is quite heavy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. We're checking this thing out. I didn't even know this vehicle existed until Michael hit me up and be like, hey, I got a Rally Edition Mach-E. I go, well, what? What's a Rally Edition? So this was kind of fun. I always love checking out new products and new things. And so, yeah, this is my first experience. Well, guys, welcome back to Driven Productions. My name's Adam. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to make a review. Went down to Florida, took a motorcycle trip, which is actually my last video I posted. And today, we're back with Michael here, a good friend of mine, and we are talking about this Mustang Mach-E. Now, I will tell you, there are very few cars or vehicles that I am not aware of. This just happens to be maybe at the top of that unaware list. I never knew that Ford came out with a Rally Edition Mach-E. Now, this isn't the first Mach-E I've reviewed. I reviewed one in 2021, I believe. I'll put a link to it right here. But it wasn't the GT edition. So if you're not familiar, the GT edition is kind of like the sport or performance edition. This thing has 480 horsepower and 700 foot-pounds of torque. Sounds like a lot, but I gotta say it's not the fastest SUV, specifically EV SUV I've reviewed, but it's plenty punchy. It's just I daily drive a plaid, so that's 1,025 horsepower. That's another level, but I will promise anybody watching this review, you're gonna be more than satisfied with the performance of this vehicle. Now, there's a lot of things that they did to make this a Rally Edition, and so we're gonna go through everything today. This review also has a full point of view drive, so you can see demonstration of Blue Cruise, my opinions of what it's like on a back road. The number one thing that I'll say is this Rally Edition gets you about 265 miles of range. So it's a big deal. You are gonna lose about 15 to 20 miles with these upgraded tires and wheels. These are, of course, off-road tires, and you do hear a little bit of it when we're on our point of view drive. I actually made a comment about that. But I wanna bring Michael on, the owner. There's nothing better than hearing from a real owner, guys, and his personal experiences with the vehicle so far. So let's get started on that, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you got something out of this review, give it a like, share with a friend, and I really appreciate you watching. All right, guys, this is Michael. Welcome back to the HQ, brother.
How you doing?
So, guys, we did a Mustang Mach 1, and then we also did a Elantra N review together. It's a good friend of mine. Appreciate you coming back and bringing this creation here. So, what are some initial thoughts that you might have for folks on buying this car and kind of your initial first few weeks experience?
Yeah, I've had it less than two weeks. It's technically my wife's car. We're kind of fighting over it. I never thought she would want an EV. You know, we kind of talked about it, joked about it, but she wanted to get an SUV. We had a Ford Maverick, didn't fit a car seat very well. Yep. It had to go in the middle, and it was just too tough for her to get the baby in in and out.
Yeah.
Um,
Here, let me show that back seat while you're talking.
So she came home and she goes, I want to get an SUV. And it's like, oh, okay. I thought, you know, it's kind of, she goes, well, what about the Mach-E?
And you had reviewed one in 21, you said, right?
Right. We had test drove it before they really came out. You know, they were just in the dealership as demo cars. And I'm like, are you sure you want any? Yeah. You know, like I think it'll be good. It'll be good. And you know, I went around and test drove a couple local, let her drive it, and she loves it. She absolutely loves the thing. Yeah. It's sporty. It's fun. It's fun to drive. Yep. So it's like the whole idea, you know, like EVs are boring. This one definitely is not boring.
No, they're not boring.
You know, so
they're quiet, but they're not boring.
You know, so you know, I started looking. You know, of course, when I was looking, the tax credits were going off.
Yep.
This found out very quickly that this was not eligible for the tax credit.
Yeah. So
because
to get the 4,000, it has to be under 25 grand.
No. I mean the new ones has to be. This one's not eligible because it's made in Mexico.
No kidding.
Right.
So this was never eligible.
It was never eligible.
Well, that was a big oversight for Ford.
Yeah. And then I don't think that was Ford's idea.
Yeah.
That was
well,
just,
at the time they probably were thinking lower costs.
Yeah. Right.
Obviously, that backfired.
And then for used cars, it has to be under 25,000. And it has to be older than a 22. Ooh. So this didn't qualify for this. Okay. But I started calling around. There's a lot of these 24s under, you know, like a lot of them are under 10,000 miles. This was under 4. So this had like 3,700 miles on it. Yeah. You know, like it was.
So this was a 63,000 MSRP car. I think you said you got about 20 off on basically
more than 20. It was under $40,000.
I mean, that's amazing. So
right.
The depreciation on these things is huge.
Yeah, right. And it's just
but it's a great buying opportunity for somebody smart who's
and it's
owner.
You know, once again, that's kind of like 40,000 and under is kind of like where, you know, like where I want to look. So it met it. And you know, like I was telling you before, with this color and the styling, I sent this, you know, a picture of this to my wife as a joke.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's no way she's gonna go, you know, like she's gonna go.
She said Mach-E, you're like, we'll get the Rally one and grab her.
And she goes, I want that. And it's just like she would not look at any other car. She goes, I want the yellow Rally.
Awesome. That's a fun story.
Okay.
Well, guys, before we get into what makes this a Rally edition, I wanted to show just the rear here. It does come with this nice little cargo pack. You can lay these seats down, right?
Yeah.
So you got a very practical crossover SUV. I wanted to just show this real quick as well. You can see here that the Rally has this kind of back, kind of with plastic, white-looking plastic material. But you can see here, no problem getting a car seat in. And then this also has that perforated leather, kind of like a perforated Alcantara design. There's not any like cooling that comes through, so it's just mostly for looks. But it is nice. It has a B&O sound system here. I like the use of different types of materials, Alcantara, leather, etc. So overall, I like the interior. We're gonna go over the infotainment here in a second, but let me show you what makes this a quote Rally edition from the exterior. So a couple of things. One, check out this giant wing. This is kind of a wing that you would find on the race car here. You also have a rear diffuser down here, and then you have skid plates that are on the front and the rear. Although we have talked about it now, there is not a skid plate on the battery pack, which is kind of unusual, but you would think that it's a critical component on the car. You also have these very cool Rally wheels, and then these also have some very specific tires that allow you to go off-road. And these tires actually reduce your range. Was it 15 or 20 miles?
15 miles.
It is interesting when you drive this vehicle, you do feel the tires a little bit. They're not quite, you know, they're not like sport tires, right?
Right.
They're not very smooth. You can hear them too in the turns.
Right, because the GT normally comes with
probably performance tires.
Right, like I think Pilot Sport S's.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people that drive both say these are quieter than those. But if you have an all-season kind of a touring tire, EV that's the other thing is these aren't EV tires.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if you went that way, it would be quieter and smoother.
Right. That's a good point. This does have the black badging here as well. You have these stripes, which are on the rear. They do not carry on the center of the car. That's all blacked out, at least on this particular one. You do also get the Rally logo here on the sides. Those center stripes carry through. These dual lights, Michael, these are added right up here.
Right, the fog lights and the solid black front bumper is a Rally only.
Rally specific, and this front splitter though is still carried through on the GT version.
No, that's a different splitter.
Okay, so there you go, guys. So, and I do think the suspension is raised 1 inch, and they gave you different springs and dampeners or different settings.
Right. They're softer springs.
Okay.
Softer sway bars, and then the programming is different on the Rally.
Got it. Can we see the front trunk too while we're going to be moving on to the interior here? I think it's got the largest front trunk in its class, right? So a very practical car. I mean, you have a massive, it's heavy. So you have a really big back that you can lower the seats down, and then you also have a pretty good sized front trunk here. I also believe that this allows you to have cup holders here, and you could even drain this if you want to use it for like an ice cream.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool feature.
The 25s, the main thing is, you know, they've gone with the heater. What is it?
The heat pump.
The heat pump.
Yeah.
And so this is like
a little
real
bit
shallow.
less. Okay.
Real shallow.
So they had to lose some space.
Yeah.
There's a perk of getting the old one. The heat pump's nice though. You'll see in the winter coming up, you're gonna lose some range for sure. But this is a big old charger they give you, so there you go. That's what Ford's charger looks like. Now it looks pretty similar to Tesla's.
Yeah.
I think Tesla's a little bit smaller. That's the first time I've actually seen that.
Yeah, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine. They keep saying how they give this to everybody.
Yeah.
But it's a line item on the sticker for $500.
So it's on the MSRP.
Right.
So, yeah, Tesla gives you. Actually, no, they stopped giving the cables. Yeah. You have to buy that separately now.
And then that's my adapter to use this Tesla superchargers.
Have you used a supercharger yet?
Not yet. That's what I'm doing that on the way home.
Okay, you're gonna check it out.
I'm gonna test it out.
Well, let's go and show folks the interior of this car. Let's show them the technology. So, guys, you can see here when you open the door, this is how you do it. And you got this little handle here to pull, and then you do have like your F-150s. You can set a lock if you want to keep your key like not on you if you're at the park or something. Again, nice use of materials here. Got the stitch line here. Got the Alcantara with the stitch line here. You got like this little plastic with the Rally inspired design. I don't even know if you could see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Is it? That's not picking up, is it? There we go. iPhone for the rescue. Coming onto the inside, it does give you some fun little graphics before you start the car. Now, I will say it's not like a Tesla where it's always on. It's more like a traditional car, so you have to have your phone or your key on you. One starts it, and then another one, like a car, actually turns the vehicle on. So now this is on. This is also how you initiate your reverse. So there's your reverse. You have a 360. This is how, of course, you have neutral and you have drive. So that's similar to your car, okay? Now, outside of that and these buttons here, which is your Blue Cruise, your cruise control, your lane keep, and your Distronic, and your volume control, everything else in the car, outside of course, the windows and the mirrors, is controlled here. Like a Tesla, mind you. So if you want to adjust your HVAC, it does pop up with this, but it only lasts about 3 seconds, which can be a little tricky. So it's not like it stays there. So again, you have to get used to controlling everything through the screen. I understand some folks aren't going to like that, but unlike a Model Y, which this competes against, you do have a nice center screen here, which is nice. Gives you all the data that you're going to want, your miles, your range left, etc. Now, let's show the driving modes. I think that is under there.
Into the car.
Yep. And then you've got 3 driving modes on this car, guys. And so we actually launched the car in unbridled mode. You had 1 pedal driving initiated. We did have propulsion sound on. You can kind of hear it at idle. You can't rev it though. That's funny. Now, you do have auto hold, which is a feature I recommend that Michael's wife tries. I think she'll appreciate that and get used to it a bit more. I don't understand why they call it whisper and engage. I get that it's like a horse, but, you know, whisper mode, it's an EV. It's whisper mode here if you turn that off, so I don't quite get it. It should just be chill, normal, and sport. That would be my recommendation to Ford. Now, other than that, I mean, there's really not that much to show with this. Is there anything specific to the screen? Like, do you have a theater? Do you have the ability to stream? Do you have games?
It is definitely not. So basically, you've got all the, you know, CarPlay and all the different apps. But in entertainment,
Okay, so you can stream.
right? But you have to pay for you have to pay like $10 a month
Okay.
for
Well, that's Tesla does the same thing.
Yeah,
So it's $10
yeah.
a month.
And then, you know,
But
and
this
then
is
you
all
have
that it
games.
has, so it doesn't-
That's it.
So there's some games.
Right. And then,
Okay.
you know, Apple CarPlay, you can't use your phone to connect to anything other than music.
Okay.
And, you know, music, and, you know, there's not.
I'm just gonna try this game out here called Lane Change. Now, okay, so you don't use the wheel. So how do you
I
control it?
wonder if it's.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Here we go. Whoop. Whoop. Eat. Yeah. Okay, so you do have some games
Yeah.
to have a little bit of fun.
While you're waiting for.
I will say the Tesla, I use the
yeah.
games quite a bit because you're charging, and every once in a while I'll just have nothing to do waiting for my wife or something, and yeah, I do play it. There's this little shooter game that I
Right.
like.
But I do feel like I kind of think this is hilarious because it's so big and there's so little information. How do you get off?
Yeah, it's X.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see it. But it just seems like everything is so big. CarPlay isn't laid out extremely, you know, just
But it keeps all this
right. And then
standard.
so you have like, this is, you know, for people that have CarPlay, normally it's on the side.
Yeah,
it's
all
down
this.
here. And then here is kind of like the last things that you've gone to. So it's kind of like quick,
kinda cool.
like quick buttons. I would rather those be programmable.
Yeah, that
and-
would be good.
And they may be. I just haven't really looked into that. But it does have wireless.
Yeah, so you have wireless charging here, guys. You
Mhm.
have a couple of ports here as well if you want to plug it into the car. You have cup holders here. This is nice. Got like a little leather steer, feeling to it. You do have this as well, but there's storage here, right? Yes, you do have storage as well down there. And yeah, I mean, everything else. You have your ability to put your sunglasses here. You have your ability to program your garage doors here. You have grab handles, which is nice for a rally car. Some cars don't even have that anymore. And you have probably some ability to turn your lights on. Yep. You do have OnStar or something, whatever Ford's version of that is.
Yeah.
It would appear.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall, my impression of the interior is nice. I actually do like it. I like the feeling of the steering wheel. I am hearing a creaking in the seat, though.
Oh, that's you're up against
I'm up against the car seat. Okay, never mind. No creaking. Overall, I do feel really, it's nice. I like that the handle to get out is very obvious. Not like Tesla where it's some stupid button where all my passengers always pull the grab handle and I have to tell them. They always pull the emergency release, which sends me a notification. But yeah, man, it's nice. It's just got a good feeling to everything. When you're buying this for $60,000, it seems like a little bit much, but when you're getting it under 40, I think you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
And a good value. Now this is reading 181 miles at 70%, so that tells you this is stated for what? 260?
265.
265. So 265. You've already lost about 30%. That's about right. Do you feel like that's pretty accurate? So
I was
far?
actually, I haven't done enough driving. This trip down here and back was kind of like what I wanted to look.
Test it out.
The drive down here seemed like it was right on the money.
Okay.
I think 35, 40 miles. But like one thing about, some people may not like this car because it doesn't have a lot of the fancy stuff.
Right.
But one of the things that my wife like about it, if you're a Ford person and you sit in this car, this is a Ford car.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's a good kind of gateway.
Yeah.
To an electric vehicle.
If you're used to it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It'll drive exactly like your other cars.
Yeah.
And I say the most controversial thing, I don't mind this thing being called a Mustang.
Well, the interesting part about that statement is that you had a Mustang Mach
Right,
1.
right.
And so you had a special one.
I've had 2 EcoBoost convertible Mustangs. I've had a GT Mustang, and I had the Mach 1 Mustang.
Okay.
And one of the things that I like about this car being called a Mustang is I can wear my Mustang shirts again.
Right.
Because you can't wear them in Elantra N. You know,
No, you can't.
but it, you know, the visual cues, it looks enough. The styling, they definitely said, okay, how do we make an SUV look kind of like a Mustang? And I think they did a good job.
Yeah, but don't you think it would have been just fine to be called a Mach-E?
If I was making the decision, I would have went for that.
So, for my opinion, guys, as a Mustang fan and somebody who had a Shelby for a while in the collection, I don't think they should have called this car a Mustang. I never really got that, because it doesn't help the fact that it's a new vehicle, right? And they could have just called it a Mach-E, and it would have been fine, right? I mean, it's a new product, but bringing a car like the Mustang, which they've been making for decades and has such a following and a cult following, and calling this car that, which is it's a performance muscle car. I mean, basically, you know, maybe not originally, but it became that pretty quickly. So, you know, I just think that kind of shits on that legacy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I don't have that same problem with it. From a company perspective, though, I think the fact that they called it a Mustang did tie their hands on styling and design of the car,
because then they had to figure out how to make it somewhat resemble
it's either you just like, we're going to use the name, but we're not going to use any of the look and styling of it, which they do. You know, the lights are very, you know, like, they're close enough. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as like the people that hate the S650.
Don't you admit, though, that at the end of the day, if they had not done Mustang,
it would have been smart. It would have been a smarter.
Would have been better, and everybody would have been fine with it. It's like that. This just would have been like the Model Y. It's like, that's their new Mach-E. It's just what they're called.
Yeah.
And anybody that ever explains this car, they always say Mach-E. They never ever say Mustang, right?
Right.
Look at my Mustang, guys.
But I do it to piss people off.
Yeah. Well. All right, guys. We're curious. I am curious if when the car is locked, if this opens. It does. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, if I want to mess with somebody's Mach-E, and I could just open that up and beat the door off, and there you go, right?
You could.
Well, that's interesting. So the Tesla doesn't allow you to open it if it doesn't have the key.
No.
If it's locked, that thing stays closed. Now, this is the big old charger that comes with the Mustang. So they have not gone to the same one as Tesla yet, it appears. Even
I think the 25s do.
The 25s do. Okay. It's not.
You know, like, so I have the adapter.
Right.
That you plug the Tesla supercharger, and it doesn't work on home. It's only on the superchargers.
Right.
You plug that in, and then you put it in here. And Ford's got a sync to where it automatically does the payment.
I do like that it gives you a little counter here, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's something that Tesla
and then
even
this
offer.
is like 20% increments. So if this one's blinking, you know you're at above 60, below 80.
That's cool. That's a cool feature. I'm just surprised that anybody can access that. Wow, even if it's locked. Well, before we wrap up,
no.
I mean, this seat is pretty far back, and I'm comfortable back here. So as far as the interior space, I think you're gonna have no problem, guys, getting adults in here. And like I said, car seat fits back here pretty well. I don't think this is the largest, SUV in the world by all means, but because there's no transmission tunnel, you could comfortably have 3 people back here. I will say though, Michael, it is a small car. I mean, it's like a Model Y. It's what they call a crossover.
Yes.
It's not like the Model X, which is full size. So, it's not the biggest vehicle. Although, when you lay these seats down, let's demonstrate that real quick, because I'm curious how easy that process is. Have you ever done it before?
I have not.
Are they pull tabs at the top or the sides? There.
Oh yeah.
That one looks. Okay, they do lay flat. Yeah. And what did you pull?
It was. I think it's. Yeah, there's a thing right here.
Okay. So right here. Yep, I got you. That's pretty easy to do. Of course, that one's not going to go down with the car seat. So that's easy. It's one hand motion. Nice. Now, do you have any storage underneath here?
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Does this come up here? Oh, there we go. Okay. So that's it.
Yeah,
not
then,
as much as the Tesla, though. Tesla has quite a big cavity down here.
And then you can kind of put it there, and it stays, and then it goes like that.
Very practical, though.
Yeah.
Overall.
But the other thing is like the screen. It's a flex screen, so if you have things, it still blocks the sun, but it kind of forms around things. So you're not fighting that cardboard thing that you have in a lot of cars.
Yeah, that's nice. And this is something I guess you could also take off if you didn't want it. Cool. Well, very practical car. All right, guys, we're in the Mustang Mach E, and we're gonna go for a point of view drive. I have basically not driven this car yet, and I want to give you as much of a point of view about the driving experience as I possibly can. And as you guys know, I'm a Tesla Model X owner. Been daily driving a SUV, specifically a electric SUV, since 2019. So I think I can give you some color on why I love them. First things first, it's getting used to this thing in unbridled mode, which is where we're in right now, is already a challenge. It is, as you can see, as Michael's moving around and the water bottles going everywhere. It's a little difficult in unbridled mode to get it smooth, so I haven't figured it out quite yet. So first thought is, in Tesla, even in plaid mode, there's a nuance to the pedal and the braking that maybe this car doesn't quite have from Hello. Now, I'm very confident I could get used to it, so don't get me wrong, it's not a deal breaker, just from initial impression. Now, I can also tell you the weight of the steering wheel in this mode, unbridled, is quite heavy. So let's just go into Engage, which I believe is your standard mode. I just want to feel it. So this is your standard mode. Now, I do have one pedal drive activated. We do not have propulsion sound. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you in a little bit. But this is probably the mode that I imagine you're going to use more often than not. It does smooth out the one pedal driving a little bit. It lightens the steering. This feels nice, and it also, doesn't make the throttle response quite so aggressive, as you can imagine. But this definitely makes it easy to drive. Let's see how she does. It gets up to speed real quick. It's a fast car. You got 480 horsepower. Now, I don't know if that unlocks all 480 in the Engage mode. I imagine it does, but you probably have to put your foot all the way to the floor to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's limiting on the horsepower or torque. It's just the suspension, and then also the feel and the delivery of it.
Right. Yeah, that feels all of her. It doesn't have the plaid shove, but that also has 1,025 horsepower, so it's more than double. But as far as performance, yeah, I mean, this thing is very fast. I don't think you're going to be complaining in the performance department by any means, especially with all-wheel drive and the ability for it to launch, which we'll demonstrate here in a little bit. But this is a nice place to be. It's pretty quiet, as you can hear, and not hearing a lot of wind noise. I like the feeling of the steering wheel. I think the weight in this boat is kind of spot on. I thought unbridled was a little heavy. I haven't tried whisper mode. I'm not sure I like the way they call it whisper, engage, and unbridled, because what in the heck is that? Like, this car is already quiet. Like, what is whisper mode gonna do? You know, it's more of a horse kind of related branding than anything. All right, going down a back road here. Again, easy to get up to speed. I think the suspension has that 1-inch lift made for off-roading, makes it very comfortable on the street. You can tell in the turns it's a heavy car. I think this thing's around 5,000 pounds. 91 kilowatt battery pack. But fun. You know, it doesn't drive like a Mustang, even though they call it a Mustang, which we won't get into much. It drives like an SUV. You sit up nice and high. I do love the styling of the front. I just think the hood looks really aggressive. That is very Mustang-ish. Turn-in's actually quite sharp. Let's try unbridled mode here on the back road, since I will tell you, the performance and the ability to put the performance down with pedal engagement is dramatically different on unbridled mode. It is really spicy. It wants to go. I mean, you could put your foot down 1/4 of an inch and it moves, whereas you got to do a little more in mid mode. God, you do feel the weight though in these turns. I can hear the tires. Not that we're cooking, but yeah, it's got nice power delivery. It's very linear. It doesn't shove. So if I just put my foot all the way to the floor. I will also say the brakes, I think the brakes on this car are better than Tesla's brakes. They feel very bitey and bigger.
Yeah, they are Brembo.
Yeah. I think they're slightly larger than Tesla's. That's just what my gut's telling me. I think Tesla assumes that people are just going to use one pedal driving more often than not, and maybe Ford has actually put brakes that you don't have to do that with. You know, it's a good time. I love EVs from the quiet factor guys. People always tell me it doesn't have an exhaust note. I'm like, yes, that's a good thing. It's a daily driver. Why do I need an exhaust note when I'm going to work on, I-65? I want to listen to music. I want to relax. Anyway, what's your thoughts been on the driving?
Oh, I think it's great. Great. I mean, I actually had the Mach 1 that we did and got rid of that a little while ago. So I'm definitely going quieter and quieter.
So right now, guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about the technology of this car. So you can see here in the screen that there is a green line on both sides of the vehicle. And I guess that has to do with the lane steering functionality. And so it does kind of provide a little bit of feedback in the steering wheel when you're driving. It's a bit much for me. Like, I'm drifting over and I could feel the car steer me back, right? So it won't let you go over. And so be mindful of that. It's probably a feature that I would turn off for majority of the driving, because it's, I don't know. Like, I get that it's a good technology if I'm on the highway, but yeah, he's got the alert intensity on high. That probably explains some of that. Because right now, I can feel it in the steering, even though I'm in the middle of the road, seemingly. And we're trying to figure out how to disable it. I want to say it's this.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
So that's the button. So if you want to get rid of it, it is that. Now, does that default to on when you're starting the car?
This is actually one of the things that's nice. It defaults to what you had it set up.
Okay.
With.
So if you turned it off from hello, it'll start off.
Right.
Okay, that's nice.
Whereas Mustangs, it reverts back to normal. There's no way you could lock in like what drive mode you want in a lot of these settings.
Sure.
So you have to reset it every time you start the car.
Yeah, I could see that being annoying. All right, guys, I want to point out one other key difference between getting a Mustang versus getting like a Tesla, for example. And this is kind of the big comparison, is self-driving. So I have an FSD Plaid, and I use it all the time. Like literally, I think my car drives me 90% of the time these days. And it wasn't like that even a year ago. They just gotten better and better and better at it. So the Mustang does have Blue Cruise, which I'm going to demonstrate here in a second. But on a back road, and this isn't really a middle of nowhere road, but this is a back road, but it is a highway, mind you. And I'm actually surprised that this won't Blue Cruise on this particular road. I guess Michael was saying that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ford has to map out the road. Is that right?
Right.
And for it to be able to be in the Blue Cruise network. So this particular road, even though it's a pretty popular highway, 31A, that goes all the way to the bottom of the country, does not have Blue Cruise capabilities. That doesn't mean that you can't lane steer, but you have to keep your hands on the wheel. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you in just a second. So in order to demonstrate Blue Cruise, and I'm actually going to try to see if it does work on 31A. So you got this button here you got to press, then this button here. This is your lane keep and your Distronic cruise, or whatever they call it for Ford. And then you click this button right here, and it says ready. Okay. Now again.
No. It's not on. You gotta engage the cruise control.
Which is this.
No, which is
this?
Yeah, you turned it off before. So there. Now let's see if it comes on. Okay, now it's in hands-on wheel mode.
Okay.
So
now what is the point of hands-on wheel mode?
I don't know. It's
if I want to self-drive, I want to do this.
Right.
Right? If the car's going to drive, I want it to do that. But this requires hands-on. Now, does it require hands-on the highway?
No,
Okay.
not if.
So
not
this
if,
is the distinction
right.
between mapped or not mapped.
And this part is comes with the car. It's free.
Okay.
What you pay, either $50 a month or $500 a year, is the ability on the freeway to take your hand off the wheel.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense on that part.
Yeah.
But it's a little disappointing that it doesn't have the ability to lane steer without hands-on on a back. This isn't even a back road. This isn't like a B road. This is 31A, right? I mean, this goes all the way to way south. You go all the way to Florida. This road. Amazing. Well, I hope that's helpful, guys. So again, I've got my hands on the steering wheel, and yes, I can feel it steering, but this isn't relaxing, right? Because I got my hands on the wheel. I want to relax, which means I want to have my hands here. And as you can see in just a second, well, that's weird. It came up immediately last time. Oh,
okay.
There it goes. Okay, so it gave me a little bit longer. But yeah, if I take my hands off, the road is going to the right here. It's driving, as you can see. And ironically, it's not asking me to put my hands on the wheel. Okay, no, it is. Well, it's coming up like Tesla, but it's not disabling it. So maybe it does have the ability to drive on a back road. I mean, it's just coming up with the message, but it's not forcing me to put my hands on the wheel. So that's good. Do I retract my previous statement? I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. So it does appear that you can drive on a highway like 31A. Comes up with that message quite a bit, though. I'm not sure how often I'd want to deal with that. Let's see. That was about 10 seconds. Well, now it's telling me to watch the road. Does it do that a little less on the highway?
When it's hands-free, you will know it's hands-free.
Okay.
That's one good thing that they do in this car.
Well, we're going to try it on the highway. All right, guys, we're going to try hands-free on the highway, but since we're on the highway, let's give it the beans one more time. It's got a little shove, and that's how easy it is to get up to 80. So again, she's got a little power. You feel that 700 foot-pounds of torque, and I just demonstrated it without having the sound on as well. Can't see anything out of this mirror. She's got it so low.
Okay, so hit the OK to set the cruise.
All right, so back on the highway, we're going to demonstrate Blue Cruise now, which is this button right here. And that's it?
No, you turned it off.
Turned it off, okay. All right, Blue Cruise on, watch the road, prepare to resume control. Okay.
It'll tell you.
Okay, back on.
No.
Nope. Okay, now it's on, hands-free. Okay, so
Yeah,
you have to hit
yeah.
it once to engage cruise control, one more time for Blue Cruise. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry, guys.
But you can see, you definitely know when it's on.
Yeah, no, it comes up with a pretty big message. So now my question is it it's monitoring my eyes,
Right.
I assume.
Right, and
So
now,
if I just look ahead, I'm good.
and the only thing it can do, if you put the turn signal on, it will check the lane and change the lanes if you want.
Okay.
You know, but it doesn't do it. It doesn't say, "Hey, this guy's really slow."
Yeah, so it doesn't have hurry mode like Tesla has, which will literally just steer around people. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna raise the limit a little bit. Go to 75. Pass that guy, no problem. Okay, we're gonna go back on this lane now. So I believe the main difference between the different thinkings behind self-driving is this one still uses LiDAR and still uses a lot of sensors and technology like that, whereas Tesla has now gone to only cameras. I think they have a total of 8 or even 10 or even 12 cameras around the car. And so that's how it's getting all of its data. Whereas this one's still using radar technology. Some people think that that's better. Some people think that it's not as good because it can't self-predict all of the different things that's going to happen in real-world environments. We'll say the suspension on this car, it really does soak up these 840 bumps pretty good. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice feature to have, you got to admit. Anybody who doesn't have a modern car, you know, once you have a modern car that self-drives, it's a technology that's hard to not have.
Yeah.
I would never, and I will say this again, I would never buy a daily driver that doesn't have some type of self-driving feature.
I would say it would be hard to go from a Tesla to this. If you use that a lot,
I would no way. This car would have to give me something like next level from the interior or from the design or a combination of everything for me just to have that only on the highway. Because when you get used to using FSD, and guys, what I mean by that is I literally will punch my address in and hit the button and just let it do its thing. And it not just from like the highway, I mean getting on the highway, getting off the highway, navigating B roads, stoplights, stop signs, all of it. And so it's like being chauffeured. And yeah, it's kind of nice. I will say though, I'm just thankful that, you know, Ford is still investing in the technology of Blue Cruise. I do hope that they'll continue to keep up with Teslas of the world, you know, the ones that have that full FSD type of technology. And I do believe Tesla's really the only one that has that. I haven't seen too many other manufacturers that are anywhere near that level. You know, Porsche doesn't have it. Audi has this type of technology, but not as good. So Ford is definitely a leader in the lane steer and self-driving space. I'd say they're a top 5, but it's just, I'm so used to that dang FSD mode now. If it doesn't have that, it's just not comparable.
One more thing, guys. Unlike the Tesla Model Y or Plaid or X, which uses your phone as the keys, provided you have Bluetooth, and it does give you a physical credit card if you need it, but this does use your traditional-looking Ford key to lock and unlock, and of course, it'll sense when you're close and all of that. But I wanted to point that out because unlike, I'm so used to it now where my phone is the key, and so it's nice never having to keep up with a key. But in this car, you do.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching. You know, this is a great used car deal. Just like most EVs on the market right now, if you can pick one of these up, which was initially $65,000 for under 40 grand with no miles virtually and basically a brand new car, that seems like a good value if you are in the market for an SUV or an electric car. I think this is a lot of cool factor personally. I like the way it drove. I like the quiet. I like the feeling of the car. I like the fact that if you have to go off-road or maybe you live on a gravel driveway, or maybe you want to do what Michael's planning on doing and actually having some, you know, and I like the styling of this thing. It's really cool looking. I like the wheels. I like the front splitter. I love the rear. Diffuser looks cool. The rear wing looks cool. The wheels look cool to me. I just think that it's a really cool looking vehicle. You know, something different, unique on the road, and it's got a lot of things going for it. I like the way the interior design, the look of it. Feels pretty premium, not exactly an Audi level, you know, or something like that, but for the price, I think it's very fair. And in some ways, even ahead of Tesla, because it does have that front screen where the Model Y and the Model 3 do not. Now, comparing this to the Model X or S is really not fair because those are a lot more expensive. You're talking $30,000 or $40,000 more money. Now, again, be careful buying this thing brand new because it's $65,000. You're almost guaranteed to lose $20,000 the first year of ownership. And because these don't qualify for that tax credit, as Michael said, which is now expired, mind you, on the 30th of last month, which is September, it never qualified for it in the beginning, which I didn't know because these were manufactured in Mexico. So if you can buy one of these Rallies for under 40, I think that's a good buy. Would I buy one brand new? No, I would not. I think for $65,000, your money is best spent on other EVs. For example, you can get a Model S Plaid for $55,000, $60,000. That's a 1,025 horsepower car. Trust me, drive that, drive this. You're gonna go and buy that if you're looking for the enthusiast car. But if you like the Ford brand, you like the transition from a Maverick in this case to this, I think it's an easy transition. This car feels more like a traditional car in the way it interacts, the way you start it and stop it. It's just easier to transition to the EV world. So if you liked any of the thoughts, guys, on this review, please go down in the comments. If you didn't like what we said, by all means, we'll look out for them. If you have any questions, go ahead and address them below. I appreciate you watching. If you like this in any way, give it a like, share it with a friend, and we can't wait to work on more content for you. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.